Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this video today we are looking at an arcade game that is very special to me. In fact, I'd go as far as saying this is one of my favorite arcade games of all time. It is definitely my favorite wrestling game of all time, right? Whether we're talking console or arcade. And the reason for that is I played this a lot. At the time this game came out, I watched wrestling a lot and my favorite wrestler was the Ultimate Warrior. And the cast in this that you could pick from was 6 wrestlers. Ultimate Warrior was one of them, Hulk Hogan was the other, then you had the Macho Man Randy Savage, Big Boss Man, Honky Tonk Man and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Even though Ultimate Warrior was my favorite, in this game the characters that I like picking were the Macho Man Randy Savage and the Big Boss Man, and it was kind of common in the arcade, at least where I'm from. If you played it in the arcade and you know kind of different to what I'm saying, then let me know. But the reason we liked Macho Man Randy Savage so much, he had a flying clothesline, and when playing this in the arcade we kind of mastered the timing. So rather than getting into a grapple fist, you could make Macho Man Randy Savage run and you could just abuse that flying clothesline. It's how I completed the game. Well, I wouldn't say completed the game. What you do is, when you play this game, you fight the normal cast. Once you beat the normal cast, what happens is you go and fight the 2 boss characters, which is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and Andre the Giant. But once you beat them, it's not the end of the game. You kind of rinse and repeat the circuit. Now, I never ever managed to beat the $1 Million Man and Andre the Giant the second time. And also, when you progress in the game, you don't get your energy back, right? So whatever energy you lose, you go into the next fight with it. So you have to be ultra careful and you got to be super sharp with everything you're doing. But as you know, wrestling games, you grapple and sometimes it just feels like it's damn right cheating. But Macho Man was fantastic. The flying clothesline, honestly, I had difficulty getting it now, but I did manage to get a few of those in the row. But if you were to play this and you want to abuse the game in a similar way that you're abusing the elbow in Double Dragon, even though in Double Dragon I'll say it's a little bit easier. Now, Macho Man Randy Savage was one of my characters. The other character was the Big Boss Man, and he was just fantastic. He played really well, and he complemented Randy Savage, right? The Macho Man Randy Savage really well, and his special was the Boss Man Slam, right? And it just worked really well. Even though Ultimate Warrior was my favorite wrestler, I did kind of like him because he had the warrior kind of press where he lifts them up, and that was good for getting them out of the ring. You can go out of the ring in this, you can climb, is it called a turnbuckle, attack them inside the ring, jump off the turnbuckle outside the ring if they're outside the ring. Now, when it comes to the grappling moves, you don't really have too many. Where you've got the 2 buttons, one is punch, the other is kick. Your punch button when you're in a grapple will do like your normal kind of move, power driver, suplex, or whatever your character has. The kick button will make your character run, right? And you kind of use that strategically, because one thing in this game, guys, if you're too near the ropes and you do your move and your character goes on those on the ropes, he touches the ropes, you kind of lose that move, right? And you kind of end up in a reset position where you both end up knocked down. So say for example you pick someone like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I think his move, is it called the Bulldog or something, where he grabs your head and he runs with you and jumps down. If you do that too near the ropes, you'll go into the ropes and you won't get the effect of that move. So you have to know each character's moves and know exactly where you can do them. Now, the follow-up to this was WrestleFest. That's actually available for the Analogue Pocket. The developer that brought that out doesn't actually support the MiSTer, and the source for it is still closed, right? So there's no chance of that coming on the MiSTer at least anytime soon. However, out of the 2 games, even though WrestleFest is more technologically advanced, WWF Superstars is my favorite, and a simple reason for that, it is nostalgia. This is the one I was waiting for. Don't get me wrong, it was nice to try WrestleFest, but I only ever played it a couple of times when going to central London, right? Which wasn't all the time. Played it a couple of times and yes, I was impressed by it. I loved it. I thought it looked great. You had more characters, you had like a Royal Rumble mode in it. It looked fantastic. But guys, this is the game I played. This is the game that on occasion I would sacrifice food to play this game. My best buddy, or one of my best buddies growing up, was a guy called Chris. Me and him used to bunk off school sometimes, go out school at lunchtime, and the chip shop where we used to play it, which was Phil's Chip Shop on Hanley Road, North London. If you know, you know, guys. My buddy Chris used to live the road across the road from that chip shop. So whenever I was hanging out at his house after school and his dad would give him some pocket money, or I had some money, we would go down and play WWF Superstars. Guys, I can't tell you how happy I am for this release. It's fantastic on the MiSTer. I understand on the Analogue Pocket there's a little bit of an issue where there's like some weird line on the right. No doubt that will get combed out, because you know what, Jotego is a heavyweight when it comes to FPGA core development. He's absolutely fantastic. And if you go back, you can go back through my videos where I've done videos about my most wanted cores, and you will always find WWF superstars in there. So I can tell you I was over the moon when this released. I wanted to do a dedicated video over the weekend, but I kind of had my news video. I was doing live streams with like the Taki Udon MiSTer Pi. But guys, this is out now. It's fantastic. It's currently a beta core, but honestly, like, I know this game well. When I played it on the MiSTer, it just reminded me of being that kid again, especially when I turn scan lines on, which I don't use for filming. Turn the scan lines on or play it on a CRT, you will feel like that kid in the arcade, right? This is back when I thought wrestling was real. I didn't even know it was fake until I was older, and honestly, when I found out it was fake, it actually broke my heart. When I'm older now, I kind of realize you have to watch it for the entertainment, and it's not fighting like UFC or boxing. You know, you got to take it for what it is. But back then, guys, we lived and breathed wrestling. Ultimate Warrior was my favorite. It was just good times, man, and this takes me right back. I can't recommend this enough. I'm really interested if you never played this game, and if you've got access to Jotego beta releases and you checked it out, what's it like if you're a newbie getting to this game, right? Because I have a lot of nostalgia for it, so that might blind my judgment of exactly how good this game is. I may think it's better than it actually is. For me, it's definitely a 10 out of 10 game. It's the best wrestling game out there. I know it doesn't have a big cast, and I know WrestleFest might be more technologically advanced, but guys, this is fantastic. There was actually like a Game Boy game that released around the same time, or maybe a year or two later. I actually picked that up, and that's what you got when you got Game Boy DMG games of your favorite arcade games. They weren't quite bang on, right? There's a few exceptions like Ninja Spirit, which was fantastic on the Game Boy, but guys, yeah, I can't talk enough about how great this game is, but I will have to stop, and I'm going to end the video here, guys. If you want access to this, consider supporting Jotego on Patreon. I can honestly say, out of all the developers out there that have patrons that provide beta access, the best value you get is from Jotego. He covers the MiSTer, the Analogue Pocket, the CD128, the Mist, probably some other FPGAs out there I'm not exactly too familiar with. So you get very, very good value. You get early access to beta files that you can help test. But importantly, you are actually funding FPGA core development directly. There'll be a link to his Patreon in the description anyway, guys. Do let me know what you think about this game. I know I've gone on about it, but like I said, it's one of my favorite games, and getting into FPGA gaming, one of the biggest things I look forward to is what arcade releases I'm getting. Anyway, guys, if you're not subscribed, a subscription and a like is always super duper appreciated. Be absolutely awesome to one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.